Hey everybody, this is Stephen with Virgin Cow. Today is January 8th of 2011. I figured it was about time to do a guitar video. So what I want to do in this video, I want to go through some of my equipment that I play through. And this will be like the church rig, I guess. This is what I play through at church, maybe 3 or 4 times a week. So I just want to show you some of the equipment that I have. First of all, I've got my Bob Hartman Jekyll and Hyde guitar. Jekyll and Hyde there. We got Bob Hartman's signature on the back of the headstock. Great guitar, phenomenal guitar, absolutely love it. I won't go through all the specifics in this video, but this is one of my main axes here. I may switch between this and my Yamaha Ty Tabor. Green, of course, because Genius has picked green. Great guitar, awesome, phenomenal. I use this a lot for solos and stuff, and for some of the slower songs, and I'll go through some demonstrations later on that. But these are the two main guitars that I use up here at church. And so let's go down to the floor and see what we got on the floor. Just see some of the pedals that we've got. First in the signal chain, I go straight from the guitar into my Boss TU3 chromatic tuner. It's pretty much a staple in a lot of guitar rigs. After the chromatic tuner, the TU3, I go into the Zvex Super Hard-On. And I've got this set up mainly, see, that's all the way off, that's all the way on, so I don't even have it quite halfway. I've got it set up mainly, it's a slight boost, but mainly just to fatten up my sound a lot, and add some thickness to it, and add some kind of something. Sometimes you need a little extra something, and that's what that pedal does. Out of that, the Zvex pedal, we go into the 535Q wah pedal. I've got this set up with 2 notches back. And as far as the dip switches on the other side, I'm not really sure how I have those. I'll have to look at those later. Straight out of the 535Q, we go into the Maxon OD808. I've got the overdrive set at about 11:30 or so, 11:30 or so. Tone at about 11. And the balance, let me say this on the balance or the volume of all my overdrives. Depending on how my ears are hearing things that day, I may turn the levels up or down. Sometimes I may not hear things correctly, or depending on how the audience is, or how just things sound that day, I'll mess with the volume. But currently I've got the balance on the Maxon at about 1 o'clock or so. Out of the Maxon, we go into the T-Rex Michelangelo Badio pedal. Right now I've got the gain at about 3, the tone at about 130, 1245, 130, and the level at about 1230. And then out of that pedal, we go into the MXR, the Zakk Wylde Overdrive. Right now, this one's one that I changed the output on a lot. Right now, I've got the output at about 10 o'clock. I've got the tone at about 1230, and the gain at about 1 or 115, somewhere around there. Out of that pedal, we go into the TC Johnring Electronics, the DGTM, the Diabolical Gristle Tone Manipulator. Thanks to Mr. Greg Koch for coming up with this pedal. The Gristle or the Overdrive, I've got, say, about 2 o'clock, tone at about 1230, and the Gravy at about 1 o'clock. The Gravy is the volume. And this has got 2 little dip switches right here. Not really dip switches, 2 little switches. And I emailed the company, and I cannot remember what they told me what these switches do. I'll have to find out and leave in the comments what these switches are for. I used to have this pedal switched over to the right, but it was a little too thick. Phenomenal tone, awesome tone, but for what we do up here, it was a little too thick. So I've got both of these switches to the left. Out of this pedal, we go into the MXR Eddie Van Halen Phase 90 pedal. I usually leave the script button off, and I've got the speed right now set at, say, 10 o'clock, somewhere around 10 o'clock. And I mainly use this pedal for slower songs, depending on what the songs call for or whatever, if it fits. And a lot of times, maybe if the songs talk about air or water or something like that, I'll throw that pedal on to kind of go with the mood of the song. It sets the mood. Out of that pedal, we've got the MXR Black Label Chorus pedal. I've got this pretty much set up as one of the settings in the manual. And I just got it set up to what it sounds nice. It just kind of adds a little flavor to the song. I use this a lot on slow songs to fill in a little bit and add a little atmospheric mood, which is pretty cool. Out of that, we go into the E2 head rush. I do not remember what all of these are for. Okay, all I know is I set this up to what sounds good to me, and what sounds good to my ears, and what I use it for. And of course, got the tap tempo, and then on-off switch there. Out of this pedal, it goes straight into the Mesa Boogie triple rectifier head. Now on this head, I mainly use channel 1 and channel 2. Channel 1, I've got it in the clean setting. I've got pretty much everything set even as far as the EQs. Almost all the bass, mid, and treble on the clean channel, I've got almost right at 1 o'clock, somewhere around 1 o'clock. The presence on the clean channel, I've got it about 9:30, and then of course master is up quite a bit of ways, say about 10:30, somewhere around there, and of course the gains maybe at about 9 o'clock. Really nice clean tone. And then channel 2, I've got pretty much the EQ set even again. I've got the bass, mids, and trebles somewhere around 1 o'clock. Presence all the way off. The master's only, right about just a little less than 9 o'clock. And the gain is about 12:30 or so. And I used to use channel 3 quite a bit, but I'm starting to do a lot of tone stacking with my pedals, and so I don't. And of course, at church, you don't need all-out metal distortion, so I don't use channel 3 a whole bunch. It depends on the service. It depends on how the song's going to go, and but that's rarely used now. And then the output is somewhere around 11 o'clock on the master output. And after that, we go into the Gensbenz G-Flex cabinet. This is George Lynch's old cabinet. Not his personal cabinet, the one he used to. It's got his autograph on the back. It's one that he used to use. Really tight, really punchy cabinet. Absolutely love it. And out of the cabinet, we've got the Shure SM57 microphone, which we use to mic and go out to the house. And of course, last but not least, we've got my picks. For years, I've been using these Clayton 1mm picks. They just feel great in my hands. I just love the way that they feel. It's just great. But just recently, I've picked up these Hetfield Black Fang picks, which I really like. Now, these aren't 1mm. These are 1.14. And now, if you notice too, I've only had these a couple of weeks. It's going to take me some getting used to with these, because if you notice, the tips between the Hetfield and the Clayton's more rounded, and the Hetfield's really sharp. So the Hetfield picks give a lot more attack. They're a lot more sharp sounding, very articulate, and the Clayton's a lot warmer. Completely different flavor. But these are the picks that I use. And I know people are going to want to hear some of the sounds, what some of my gear sounds like. And since I don't have a lot of time to run through on this video, a lot of the sounds, we'll do another video showing some of the different sounds and some of the different flavors that I use here at church. But this is my church rig. This is what I play most of the week. And I've changed out some of the heads every once in a while. I've got phenomenal tone out of pretty much any of my pedals or any of my heads or guitars or whatever. Sometimes I'll bring an extra pedal that up here that I haven't played in a while, and I'll run through that. But this is my main setup up here at church, and I want to show that to you guys and show you what I play through. And in the upcoming videos, we'll run through some of the gear, man. We'll see what it sounds like. Run through some of the guitars. I'll talk about the specific things that I do, maybe some techniques that I use up here at church, depending on the songs. And so we look forward to doing a lot more of these videos. But this is Stephen with Virgin Cow, and this is my first guitar gear rundown. And hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you guys next time.